In the world of construction, project managers and superintendents exist in fire, brimstone, darkness, and chaos. These roles are known to drive all but the toughest to the brink of insanity, chewing up and spitting out countless souls who attempt it without ever breaking stride. Yeah. Alright, let's get serious here. Although I am being a bit dramatic, it is true that these positions are known to carry both authority and responsibility on a construction project, which go hand in hand with stress, effort, and many challenging experiences. Which brings us to today's question, which is perhaps an age-old question. Between project managers and superintendents, which one has the tougher job? Well, that, my friends, is what we're going to find out. In today's video, I'll be comparing these two positions in 11 key areas and awarding a point to whoever has it tougher in that category. Be sure to stick around to the end to see who gets the high score. And as a quick disclaimer, I will point out that both of these positions can vary by company, industry, and so on. With that in mind, there is of course room for variation and interpretation. Now before we begin, I want to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, which is OSHA Campus by 360 Training. If you need to complete an OSHA 10-hour or 30-hour training course, 360 Training offers flexible, affordable, 100% online options that can be completed at your own pace from any device. Check out the pinned comment below to learn more and to enroll today. You may earn a small commission if you enroll through our link, which helps out the channel. Now let's get into today's content. In order to become a construction PM, one typically needs to have a degree. This can be in a field like construction management, of course, but also in specialties such as engineering, architecture, or even business. This isn't always true, but is often the case. All that's to say that college degrees are more typically held by project managers than they are by superintendents. Now, it's of course true that some supers also have college degrees. The differentiating factor lies in that superintendents often get their role based on their years of experience rather than the degree they hold. As a matter of fact, having experience is a prerequisite for both roles of project manager and super alike. But for superintendents, it's especially necessary because so much of what they bring to the table is learned on the job. Now, it's often the case that superintendents need to hold a license or a certification depending on the town or city in which they're working, which can often involve taking courses in order to gain a specific certification they may need. But typically, project managers spend more time and effort getting a degree in order to qualify for their job. And with that said, I'll have to give this first one to the PMs. When it comes to how much experience a project manager or a superintendent needs, the data seems to vary pretty widely. So I'll at least start with my anecdotal experience. I've met many construction PMs who are in their mid to late 20s when they first get the title of PM. In fact, I was 25 when I first became a PM myself. Generally speaking, the youngest superintendents I've ever come across, or have personally known, are at least in their early 30s by the time they gain that title. Like we said in the previous section, construction superintendents rely much more on experience than project managers do, especially experience on the job and in the field. In that same vein, I believe it takes superintendents a lot more time to build a foundation of knowledge and experience to safely and effectively manage a construction site, facets of a project that PMs have less of a hand in. In short, I have to give this one to the supers. I could say with 100% certainty that neither PMs or supers have a steady, fixed schedule. Both of these roles must put in pretty crazy hours at times. Between tight deadlines, coordinating numerous activities, and handling the unexpected, both PMs and supers must be adaptable and ready to buckle down when needed. It's very tempting to make this one a tie, but at least for supers, and it's not guaranteed, they can leave work at work when the job site gates close and the work crews go home for the day. PMs, on the other hand, can do their job from anywhere, which is both a blessing and a curse. In turn, many evenings are spent answering emails and doing work on the computer at home, well after the job site is closed. This is especially true at times when the flow of information and paperwork is extra heavy. And with that, I have to give this one to the PMs. This next category is the other side of the coin with what we just discussed previously. You may already be thinking of this after going through the prior section. Although both PMs and supers are known to put in the hours, there's a big difference between the two jobs when it comes to flexibility. Like we said before, PMs can do their job from anywhere, on the job site, in the office, or at home. A Especially these days, so much of our work is done on the computer. More and more meetings happen virtually as well, which makes the construction PM role even more flexible than it used to be. In so many words, PMs can perform most of their job in a flexible manner. Supers, on the other hand, have to be physically present on the job most of the time. This includes many early mornings throughout all seasons, hot or cold, rain or shine. Supers often unlock the job site in the morning and are the last to leave at the end of the day. So when it comes to the role that offers less flexibility, I have to say that supers have it tougher and they get another point. Let's now talk about which role is exposed to more danger and physical activity. Everybody knows that both PMs and supers should spend time on their job sites. But like we said before, supers spend a lot more time on job sites than PMs do. The longer one spends on a job site, the more risk they are cumulatively exposed to. Even while not physically working, supers spend a lot of time walking all over the job site, and it's not uncommon for supers to put in some physical effort to keep the job site running smoothly, even if it's just helping with the logistics. Therefore, it's safe to say that supers are exposed to more physical dangers than PMs are on average, and spend more energy physically doing their jobs than PMs do, which is all to say that we're giving another point to the supers. Documentation is a crucial part of the construction process, and both PMs as well as supers play a role in this effort. Superintendents, for example, are responsible for documenting on-site activities each day. This includes tracking manpower, material deliveries, important events, incidents, and so on. PMs, on the other hand, play a critical role in documenting a wide variety of information. This includes putting together submittals, writing RFIs, writing letters, processing invoices, tracking financial information, and a whole lot more. Though it is true that both PMs and supers are involved in documentation on a project, PMs typically play a much larger role in this regard. And with that in mind, I'll give this one to the PMs. Now, before we move on to the next category, I'd like to mention that I offer virtual one-on-one mentorship sessions. Whether you're just starting out in project management and you're looking for guidance, or you're a seasoned PM that's looking to talk about your experience or a specific situation, I'm available for both 30 and 60-minute sessions. To learn more or to book a session, just check out the link in the description below. Supers are integral to getting the job done on the actual work site, but it is the PMs who are ultimately responsible for managing a project's budget. This includes sourcing materials, equipment, and subcontractors at the best possible prices, along with billing the client for work as it's completed, as well as making sure the project is staying on budget and addressing any changes as they arise. In fact, some supers I've worked with don't even want to see the budget at all, and in some ways, I can't blame them. But all that said, I've got to give this one to the PMs. As we've already mentioned, supers play an absolutely critical role in managing a project's progress on a day-to-day level. Supers are the ones responsible for making sure that the day's orders are carried out effectively and on time. It is, after all, what we get done today that dictates what we get done in the future. On the other hand, PMs need to make sure that long lead items are addressed, contracts are signed, materials are ordered ahead of time, and so on. PMs also monitor a project's overall schedule, keeping an eye on actual progress compared to when major milestones and deadlines are forecasted. So when it comes to scheduling, I have to make this one a tie. Between project managers and supers, who speaks to the client more often? And which of the two are held more accountable by the client for a successful completion? Superintendents are a project's main point of contact when it comes to on-site activities. This includes speaking to the client about when certain items of work will happen and other logistical things like that. These conversations are often more in the moment and are quick to resolve. PMs, on the other hand, usually meet with clients on a more scheduled basis, where they talk about progress, any updates, changes, and of course, money. This takes place in meetings as well as in written communication. But in fairness, it's pretty common for supers to attend in-person meetings as well. Although I'm trying my best to choose firmly for each category, I have to make this one a tie as well. PMs are always hounding team members for updates, information, and so on. PMs can be described as taskmasters that track the flow of information and documents throughout the life of the project. While this does involve working with many people, it's more about managing the task than it is about managing the people. On the flip side, superintendents oversee the actual work taking place on site each day, and by extension, they actively oversee the people physically doing the work on the job site. With the supers being in charge of what's happening in the here and now, it only makes sense that they spend more time working closely with people and managing what they're doing on a granular level. Due to this, I say that supers spend more time actually managing people, and I give them another point. Rounding off our list in our final spot is daily logistics. Supers stay plenty busy managing the day-to-day activities on the job site. With that responsibility come many surprises and problems to deal with, all of which require brainstorming, creative thinking, conversations, and cursing to no one in particular in order to resolve. But good news! Although PMs spend more time in meetings or in the office than they do on the job site, they spend a lot of their time doing the exact same thing, dealing with surprises and problems along with the conversations, brainstorming, and cursing that comes with it. The funniest part is perhaps in the fact that many of these conversations take place between the super and the PM, simultaneously commiserating and laughing about the same crazy situations. For that, I gotta make this last one a tie. Now that we've gone through each of these 11 categories, let's tally up the total number of points that PMs and supers each get in order to see who ultimately has it tougher. PMs won in the categories of educational requirements, working hours, documentation, and finances, giving them a total of 4 points. Superintendents, on the other hand, won in the categories of experience requirements, job rigidity, physical danger, and managing people, also giving them a total of 4 points. PMs and superintendents tied in the categories of scheduling, client relations, and daily logistics. So what does the final score indicate? Based on the categories we went through today, I'd say that the roles of PM and superintendent are equally tough, with plenty of overlap in between and an equal dependence on one another as well. Above all else though, it's extremely corny and totally true that both roles are integral to getting a project done successfully. Now what do you think? Would you have scored this any differently? I'd love to hear your feedback in the comment section below and let's keep it civil down there. Now, if you enjoyed today's video, liking it for the YouTube algorithm and sharing it with someone you think would appreciate it would be awesome. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to stay in touch for future videos. This helps out the channel and your support does not go unnoticed. And last but not least, be sure to check out the link in the description below if you're interested in any one-on-one virtual mentorship sessions about project management or work life with yours truly. I'd love to meet with you and get to know more about you. Thank you very much for watching. This is Patrick from PM Problems signing off, and until next time, cheers.